The cold, dark silence of space was broken by a sharp beep inside the small research station orbiting a forgotten star. Deep Space Station Vega 9 was far from Earth, hidden at the edge of explored space. For years, it had watched planets, stars, and strange cosmic events, sending back reports to the Galactic Council. But today, something unexpected happened. Dr. Alina Marquez sat at her console, eyes fixed on the screen. The monitors showed quiet waves of space, detan till a sudden signal blinked across the display. It was faint but clear, a coded message repeating itself over and over. "Alina, are you seeing this?" called Commander Lee from across the room. His voice tensed. Alina nodded slowly. "It's a signal, but not just any signal. It's an SOS from this part of space?" It didn't make sense. The last known SOS came from a colony destroyed decades ago. No one had sent a call for help from here before. "Where's it coming from?" Lee asked, stepping closer. Alina typed quickly. "Trying to trace the source. Coordinates point to a dead planet, one marked as uninhabitable. Official files call it Deathworld. No one has landed there for over 50 years. The name sent a chill through the station. Deathworld was legendary. A planet so dangerous that even automated probes failed to return. Many believe the stories of the Deathworlders, the most dangerous species in the galaxy, were just myths. Yet, here was a signal, clear and desperate. The words inside the SOS were simple but terrifying. "Deathworlders are back. Help us, Commander." Lee rubbed his face. This could be a trap. Or worse, a warning. Elena's fingers paused over the keyboard. She had spent years studying alien species, but nothing had prepared her for this. The Deathworlders were thought extinct. If they were back, the entire galaxy was at risk. "We have to investigate," she said firmly. "This could change everything." Shook his head, or it could be the end of everything. Back on Earth, the news of the mysterious SOS had spread quickly. The Galactic Council held an emergency meeting. Experts argued for days, some calling it a hoax, others demanding immediate action. In the end, the decision was made. A small team of explorers and scientists would trace the signal and find out the truth. Alina was chosen to lead the mission. Her knowledge of alien languages and cultures was unmatched. Alongside her were Commander Lee, Engineer Raj Patel, biologist Dr. Sarah Kim, pilot Jake Simmons. As their ship, the Starhawk, left Earth orbit, the crew felt a mix of excitement and fear. They were heading toward the unknown, a dead planet. With a terrible reputation and a dangerous mystery waiting to be solved, the journey was long and silent. Space stretched endlessly outside the windows, stars sparkling cold and distant. No one spoke much. The signal was still there, faint but constant, guiding them like a ghost. One night, Alina sat alone in the ship's observation deck, staring at the signal's pattern. It was unlike anything she had seen before, mix of old alien codes and something new. She tried to decode its meaning again. Suddenly, the signal changed. The repeating message stopped. Instead, a single phrase appeared on the screen, in a language none of them recognized. "Beware the shadows." Elena's heart raced. Was this a warning or a threat? She called the others. The signal, ... It's alive somehow. It's trying. To communicate, Raj frowned. "It's impossible. Signals can't think." "But what if it's more than a signal?" Sarah said quietly. What if it's a message from a living mind?" Jake looked out the window. Or something waiting. For us on Deathworld, when the Starhawk finally approached the coordinates, the crew gasped. The planet below was dark and twisted, a world covered in black rock and strange glowing plants. Lightning flashed in thick clouds above, and the atmosphere crackled with energy. The ship's sensors went crazy. Strange readings came from deep. Underground, no life forms were visible on the surface. It was like the planet was watching them. Alina looked down at the screen. This is not just a dead planet. It's alive, ... in some way. Lee checked his weapons, and we might not be. Alone, as the Starhawk landed, the crew prepared for the unknown. The airlock hissed open, and cold, heavy air rushed in. The landscape was eerie as silent, except for the distant rumble of thunder. Alina stepped out first, her boots crunching on the black soil. The team spread out, scanning the area. Suddenly, a shadow moved just beyond the edge of their lights. "Did you see that?" Sarah whispered. "Stay alert," Lee warned. "We don't know what's here." Hours passed with no sign of the source. But the feeling of being watched grew stronger. Suddenly the ground trembled. A deep growl echoed from the shadows. The team froze. From the darkness, shapes began to emerge, tall, lean creatures with glowing eyes and skin like cracked stone. They moved silently but quickly, watching the humans. Elena's breath caught. The Deathworlders. They're real. One of the creatures stepped forward, raising a hand in a strange gesture. The team waited, unsure whether to attack or communicate. Then the creature spoke, its voice rough but clear. "Why have you come?" The crew realized this was no ordinary enemy. These Deathworlders were intelligent, maybe even more advanced than anyone imagined. But their return meant danger was near. The SOS was not just a call for help, it was a warning to the entire galaxy. Alina looked at her team. "We have to learn why they sent the signal, and what they want." Lee tightened his grip on his weapon. "Because whatever it is, it's coming for us all." As night fell on Deathworld, the Starhawk crew faced their greatest test. The most dangerous species in the galaxy had returned, and the story was only beginning. The Starhawk's engines hummed softly as it moved closer to the surface of Deathworld. Below, the planet was dark and wild, a strange mix of sharp rocks, glowing plants, and thick, misty air. The crew stared out of the windows, their faces tense. With both fear and curiosity, Alina stood near the controls, her eyes fixed on the strange landscape. "This place, it's like nothing we've ever seen." Raj, the engineer, shook his head. "Our sensors are acting weird. The planet's magnetic field is all over the place. It's like the whole world is alive and angry." Commander Lee checked his weapon one last time. "Stay sharp. We don't know what's waiting for us out there." The airlock opened with a hiss. One by one, the team stepped out onto the black ground. The air smelled strange, sharp, almost electric hand. It made them all breathe carefully. Their boots sank slightly into soft soil that glowed faintly under their feet. Sarah bent down, scanning the plants around them. "These aren't like any plants from other planets. They seem to react when we get close." Suddenly, a small flower snapped shut, as if it were alive, and a strange whisper echoed around them. The team froze. "Did you hear that?" Jake asked, looking around. "It's the planet," Alina said quietly. "It's trying to tell us something." They moved slowly, their lights cutting through the thick fog. Strange shadows shifted just beyond the glow. Every noise seemed louder in the silence. Suddenly, Raj's scanner beeped wildly. "Movement. Something's coming." From the thick mist, shapes appeared, dark figures moving quickly. Between the glowing plants, the team held their breath. "Who's there?" Lee called out. A voice answered, cold and low. "You should not be here." Out of the mist stepped a figure unlike any the team had seen. Its skin was dark and smooth, its eyes shining with an unnatural light. It was one of the Deathworlders. Alina raised her hand slowly. "We mean no harm. We came because of the SOS signal." The creature's eyes narrowed. The signal was a warning. They're not ready for what is coming. The tension grew. The Deathworlder didn't move closer, but didn't leave either. Sarah whispered, "Why send the signal if you don't want help?" The creature's voice was heavy with sadness. "Because some things cannot be stopped, only prepared for." Suddenly, the ground shook. The team looked around in alarm as cracks appeared in the soil, glowing with the same strange light as the plants. "Get back to the ship," Lee shouted. But Alina stayed calm. "Wait, there's more here, something the Deathworlders want us to see?" The creature nodded slowly. "Follow me if you survive." They followed the Deathworlder through the glowing forest to a hidden entrance in the rocks. It led underground into a tunnel filled with strange machines and symbols glowing on the walls. "This is a lab," Alina said, her voice full of wonder. "From who?" "The Deathworlders," the creature answered. "From those who came before us. We guard the secrets of survival." Elena looked at the symbols carefully. These are advanced technologies. Energy sources, weapons, not weapons. The Deathworlder said quietly. Balance. Suddenly the tunnel shook again, and distant roars echoed. The warning was clear, danger was close. We don't have much time, the creature said. What you seek is buried deeper. But beware what you find may change everything. As the team moved deeper, the light from their suits barely touched the walls. The air grew colder, and an eerie silence surrounded them. Elena's mind raced. What was the true power hidden on Deathworld? And why had the Deathworlders sent the SOS if they wanted to warn others away? Outside, the planet continued to pulse with life and danger. The Forbidden Planet held its secrets tightly. But the crew was determined to uncover the truth, no matter what waited in the shadows. The tunnel seemed endless as the Starhawk team moved deeper into the heart of Deathworld. The glowing symbols on the walls flickered like silent warnings. Every step echoed in the cold, empty passage. The air was heavy, filled with a strange energy that made their skin tingle. Elena led the way, her hand steady on the scanner. Keep your eyes open. We don't know what's waiting for us. Suddenly, the tunnel opened into a massive underground chamber. It was unlike anything they had seen, a vast space filled with strange technology, glowing softly in blue and green. At the center stood a figure tall, lean, covered in cracked, stone-like skin that shimmered under the light. Its eyes glowed bright white. The creature's presence was both frightening and majestic. Elena's breath caught. Is this one of the Deathworlders? The creature spoke, its voice deep and calm. I am called Kale. I am one of the last of my kind. Raj stepped forward cautiously. You survived the extinction. Kale nodded slowly. We were believed lost, but we endured. We watch. We wait. Sarah looked closely at Kale's skin. Your body. It's different from any life form I've studied. How do you survive here? Kale's gaze was steady. This world is part of us, and we are part of it. We live because the planet lives. The team listened, fascinated but wary. Kale's words carried weight, but his presence was a warning. 2. Suddenly, the lights flickered. A low growl echoed from deep within the chamber. Elena's heart pounded. What was that? Jake asked, gripping his weapon. Kale's eyes narrowed. The others. They do not welcome strangers. From the shadows, more figures appeared, Deathworlders like Kale. But their eyes burned red, and their movements were sharp and quick. Circled the team, closing in. Elena raised her hands slowly. Come with peace. We only want to understand. One of the red-eyed Deathworlders snarled. Peace is a lie. You are intruders. Lee took a step forward. We don't want to fight. We respond to a call for help. Kale's voice rose. The SOS was a warning. A test. You may not survive the truth. The creatures lunged suddenly. The team reacted quickly. Weapons fired, light flashing through the dark chamber. But the Deathworlders were fast, moving like shadows. The fight was fierce and chaotic. Elena dodged a swipe, her mind racing. We need to get out, learn more, before this becomes a battle we can't win. Raj covered her, firing at the advancing creatures. Sarah pulled Jake back towards the tunnel entrance. As they ran, Kale's voice echoed behind them. Remember? This moment, the galaxy's fate depends on it. Outside, the cold air of Deathworld hit them like a shock. The Starhawk waited silently, engines ready, breathing hard. Elena looked at her team. This is only the beginning. The Deathworlders are real and they are dangerous. Lee nodded grimly. We came for answers. But now, we know the truth is darker than we imagined. The planet below seemed to pulse with life and danger, hiding secrets deeper than anyone could guess. And somewhere in the shadows, the most dangerous species in the galaxy watched and waited. The team returned to the underground lab, their hearts still pounding from the fight. The glowing machines and strange symbols seemed even more mysterious now. Elena knew there was much more to discover and maybe answers that could save or destroy them all. Look at these devices, Raj said, pointing to a large console covered in blinking lights. This technology is beyond anything we've ever seen. Alina examined the symbols again. These aren't just machines, they're connected. They control the balance of this planet, maybe much more. Sarah carefully touched a strange crystal embedded in the wall. It feels alive, like it's storing energy. Kale, the Deathworlder who had warned them, spoke quietly. Our people built this place long ago, before the Great War. This lab holds the knowledge of survival and power. Alina looked up.
What war?
Kale's eyes darkened. A war that destroyed many worlds. Our species was almost wiped out. Suddenly the console flickered, revealing a hidden message in the ancient code. Alina and Sarah worked quickly to decode it. The message was a warning and a secret plan. Our world is dying, Kale said. The galaxy is shifting. Dark forces are rising. Alina read aloud. To survive, we must protect the balance. To protect balance, we must awaken the Guardians. Jake asked, tense. Kale's voice was calm but serious. Ancient machines hidden deep below. They are powerful more than any weapon. Raj shook his head. If they fall into the wrong hands, it could mean the end of many worlds. Sarah looked at Alina. This is bigger than we thought. The SOS wasn't just a call for help. It was a warning about something much worse. Outside, a low rumble shook the planet. The team exchanged worried glances. We don't have much time, Alina said. We need to find these Guardians before anyone else does. Kale nodded. You must move quickly. The shadows grow stronger. Eek! The team prepared to leave the lab, their minds full of questions. What was the true power of Deathworld?
Who is
the real enemy? And what role would they play in the battle to come? As they stepped back into the dark tunnels, the glowing symbols seemed to pulse faster, like the planet itself was alive. Watching, waiting. The story of Deathworld was only beginning to unfold. The team had barely left the underground lab when the atmosphere changed. Tension filled the air, heavier than the thick fog outside. Everyone was tired but alert. They knew the real danger was not just the planet. It was what could come from inside their own group. Alina noticed Raj acting strange. He was quieter than usual, his eyes shifting nervously whenever someone looked his way. Raj, are you okay? Sarah asked gently during a break. Raj forced a smile. Yeah, just tired. But Alina wasn't convinced. Something felt off. That night, as the crew rested aboard the Starhawk, Alina stayed up, going through data logs. Suddenly, an alert flashed on her screen. Someone had tried to access the ship's weapon system without permission. She called Lee quietly. We have a problem. Someone's messing with our defenses. Lee's face darkened. Who would do that? Before Alina could answer, Raj appeared in the doorway.
I?
His face was serious, almost cold. I need to talk to you, he said, avoiding. The others, Alina, followed him to a private room. Raj's voice was low but urgent. There's something you don't know. I didn't tell you everything about the SOS. Alina frowned. What do you mean, Raj? Took a deep breath. The signal wasn't just a call for help. It was a trap set by a group that wants to control Deathworld's power. Alina's heart sank. Why didn't you tell us? It's because I was sent to make sure the team doesn't interfere, Raj confessed. But after seeing everything, I'm not sure whose side I'm really on. Back on the ship, Sarah and Jake grew suspicious. They noticed Raj sneaking into the weapons room and trying to send strange messages through the ship's communication. Lee confronted him. Raj, explain. Yourself? Are you working against us? Raj looked torn. I have orders, but I'm conflicted. The Deathworld technology is too powerful. It could destroy or save millions. Alina stepped in. We need to work together. No secrets, no betrayals. Raj hesitated, then nodded. I want to help, but we have to be careful. There are others out there watching us. The crew knew the real battle was no longer just against the Deathworlders or the planet. It was against the threat inside their own ranks. And with every secret revealed, the danger grew. News of the SOS signal and the team's discovery on Deathworld spread quickly through the galaxy. Worlds once distant and quiet now buzzed with worry and preparation. The return of the Deathworlders and the mysterious power beneath the planet could not be ignored. The Galactic Council called an emergency meeting. Leaders from different planets gathered, representing many species and alliances. Tensions ran high as some feared war, others hoped for peace. Alina and Commander Lee attended. Sharing their urgent reports, "We face a threat unlike any before," Alina warned. "The Deathworlders are not extinct. Their technology could shift the balance of power across the galaxy." One elder from the planet Virelia, a wise and cautious leader, spoke slowly. "We must unite. Alone, no species can stop what is coming." A strong alliance formed that day. Species once at odds agreed to work together. The Galactic Alliance was born to face the shadow growing from Deathworld and beyond. But trust was fragile. Some council members doubted the Deathworlders' intentions. Were they truly allies, or waiting for the right moment to strike? Alina stood by Kale's side as they spoke to the council. "Our people want peace," Kale said. "But we will defend our world and the galaxy against those who seek to destroy it." The Alliance began planning a fleet to guard Deathworld, scientists to study the Guardians, and diplomats to build understanding. Yet beneath the surface, fear and suspicion grew. Late one night, Alina overheard whispers between council members. "If the Deathworlders betray us, we will be ready." Lee found her afterward. "This alliance is our best hope, but we must prepare for betrayal." Alina nodded. "Have to believe in the chance for peace, but stay alert." Outside, Deathworld pulsed with quiet power. Fate of many worlds rested on fragile trust and on the courage of those willing to stand together. The true battle was not just for survival. It was for the future of the galaxy. The Galactic Alliance was formed, but not everyone trusted it. In the dark corners of the galaxy, hidden groups watched Deathworld closely. Waiting for their chance, back on the Starhawk, the crew worked hard. Alina, Lee, Sarah, Jake, and Raj prepared for their next mission to find the ancient guardians Kale spoke of and unlock the planet's secrets before enemies could. The planet's surface grew more hostile each day. Strange storms swept across the black landscape. Mysterious creatures stirred in the shadows. One evening, as the crew gathered around the ship's table, a warning message appeared on the screen. "Unauthorized fleet detected approaching." "Deathworld." Lee's face tightened. "We're not alone anymore." Alina studied the message. "Whoever they are, they want what's beneath this planet." Suddenly alarms blared throughout the ship. The hull shook as small fighter ships appeared in the distance, closing fast. Jake rushed to the controls. "They're attacking." The Starhawk's weapons powered up, but the enemy was strong and well prepared. Raj shouted. "This isn't just a fight for the planets, it's a fight for the galaxy's future." The battle raged in space, lasers flashing against the dark sky. The crew worked together, fighting off the attackers with skill and courage. But Alina knew this was only the beginning. The shadows were gathering forces that would stop at nothing to control Deathworld's power. She looked at her team, determination burning in her eyes. "We have to find those guardians. We have to stop this before it's too late." Outside, the stars watched silently. As the war for Deathworld's secrets deepened, the Galactic Alliance stood united. But trust was thin, like a thread ready to snap. Hidden in the darkest corners of space, secret forces watched Deathworld. Hungry for its power, on board the Starhawk, Alina and her team prepared for what lay ahead. They needed to find the ancient guardians Kale spoke of before enemies could seize them. The planet's surface grew wilder. Strange storms roared, and eerie noises echoed through the black forests. The crew felt eyes watching them, though no one could see what hid in the shadows. One evening, a sudden alert flashed on. The main screen, "Hostile fleet detected approaching Deathworld." Lee's jaw tightened. "They're coming." Alina studied the radar. "Whoever they are, they want the power beneath this planet. We have to stop them." No sooner had she spoken than the Starhawk's alarms screamed. fighter ships emerged. From the dark space, firing bright laser beams. Jake jumped to the controls. Battle stations. They're attacking. The Starhawk's weapons roared in response. Explosions lit the void as the crew fought hard against the unknown enemy. Raj yelled over the chaos. This isn't just about Deathworld. It's about who controls the galaxy's future. Lena gritted her teeth. Focus. Protect the ship and find the Guardians. As the battle raged, a shadow moved silently in the distance, something waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Alina looked at her team, fierce and ready. We have to end this. The galaxy depends on it. Outside, stars shone cold and distant, watching as the war for Deathworld's secrets deepened into darkness. The Starhawk hovered over the deepest caverns of Deathworld, where the ancient Guardians were said to sleep. Elena's heart raced. This was the moment everything depended on. The crew moved carefully into the dark tunnels, their lights cutting through thick shadows. New, strange symbols glowed softly on the walls, pulsing like a heartbeat. Kale led the way, silent and steady. Guardians protect the balance of this world. Waken them wisely. And suddenly a deep rumble shook the ground. The ancient machines stirred, massive, glowing figures slowly rising from the stone, eyes blazing with energy. Outside, the hostile fleet closed in. Time was running out. Elena's voice was calm but firm. We must stand together, no matter what comes. The Deathworlders joined the fight, side by side with the Starhawk crew. The Guardians unleashed powerful waves of energy that pushed back the attackers. But the enemy had one. Its last weapon, a massive warship, firing a deadly beam toward the planet's core, Lee shouted. If that beam hits, it will destroy Deathworld and us all. Alina made a quick decision. Jake, target the warship's power source. Raj, prep the Guardians for a final blast. The battle became a blur of light and sound. The Guardians charged, firing concentrated energy. The Starhawk dodged beams and launched strikes. With a final roar, the warship exploded in a brilliant flash-dot. Silence fell. The galaxy was safe for now. Alina looked at her team and Kale. We saved Deathworld today. But the real challenge is ahead, protecting this peace. Kale nodded. The most dangerous species can also choose to protect life. As the sun rose over the dark planet, hope returned. The SOS signal was not just a warning. It was a call for a new beginning.